of common sense America with Eden Cornell. Yeah.
And good morning, my beautiful America. It is Monday, January the 23rd. I cannot believe it. We are ending in January. January is coming to an end, and we're headed right into February. And so many great things ahead of us in this great nation in the United States of America. Hey, did you guys realize when you woke up this morning, we woke up in a free country? And did you guys realize when you woke up this morning that you are breathing fresh air, that you are free because of those who fought for us on our nation's front lines? You are free because of the men and women who have gone before us. You are free because we are a nation, one nation under God. Despite what the current president and the vice president seem to want to share with us about the lack of freedom, really the lack of freedom? No, we are one nation under God. You know what? This country and this show is all about God, family, and country. We are all about freedom of speech. We are all about the Second Amendment rights. We are all about love of country and love of our faith in the public square and not being censored. No, we are not going to be censored here at Common Sense America. You know, this show is all about the kitchen table discussions. And yes, you know what? For all of my audiences out there who are tuning in all over the globe, thank you so much for your support. For all of those who have been walking alongside of me on this show, thank you for your support. To all the platforms that are carrying the show, I am so grateful to all of them, especially all of the women of faith, women of leadership who've come alongside of this show. We are speaking truth. Whether you want to hear it or not, we are speaking it. I tell you what, we had a very interesting long weekend. I don't know if you tuned into this news. I decided to listen to it on my drive back from Southern Virginia yesterday. My husband and I were listening to the news, and I said, "Hon, why don't you come on the show and join me?" He said, "No, I can't," because he's like, "I'll swear every other moment." I am so furious with the current president of the United States taking away our gun rights, but yet, you know what? He is a liar. He is cheating. He is stealing, and he is selling the American way to China. CCP. You guys see that this weekend? Did you see all the documents that have been uncovered? My gosh, what else is going to happen next? But yet they still want to focus on Trump. Give me a break. No, that's not how this rolls, Mr. President. Yeah, not fan of yours, and I'm not a fan of Kamala's. I don't know what the heck she thinks she's talking about when she goes to Freedom, Florida, and decides to, criticize DeSantis when it comes to freedom. She doesn't know what freedom is if it hit her in the face. Yes. I am sick of hearing about the women's reproductive rights. Oh, give it up. You talk about women's reproductive rights, but then you force the COVID on us, they force the COVID jab on us when all those kids are just dropping dead from the jab. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear the wokeness. I don't want to hear your woke crap, because that's what it is. And this Monday morning, I'm riled up because you know what? We have the power and the next generation to save this nation, unless you decide you just want to continue in your wokeness and your woke theologies, because you know what? It's distorting the American mind. And it's distorting what is happening to our next generation of kids. I have the opportunity, and I've had the opportunity over the past couple years to work with Turning Point USA. And they have local chapters all around North Carolina, Chapel Hill, ECU, NC State, so many great campuses and so many great leaders. And I am so encouraged to see young men and young women rising up and believing in conservative values, not woke values, conservative values. And this morning, I am bringing over to the show the treasurer of ECU's Turning Point USA chapter. We have Logan coming over. He is a business. He is in the master's program for business. He is a leader. He is rising up at ECU to stand up for what is happening in and around our nation, but also in North Carolina's backyard. Hey, wake up, North Carolina. Wake up. Wake up. I'm tired of hearing state house people and state reps say that issue is federal. That issue's federal. It's not state. Well, you know what you're doing is you're giving power back to the federal government when actuality, North Carolina, is power back to the states. So wake up. Wait until you hear Logan. I'm going to bring him over right now. Hey, good morning, Logan. How are you? Welcome to Common Sense America.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
Good. I am so glad you're here. Everybody meet Logan Daniels, Turning Point USA, and I need to change it. Chapter treasurer. Excuse me, I had put president. I thought that's what Coleman had told you. So I am so glad to have you here. You are in business, studying business at ECU. Is that correct?
I am. I'm in a master's program for business.
Oh, wow. Well done. Well done. Did you graduate from ECU with your undergrad?
I graduated just last May. I'm excited to go back.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to you on doing that. A job well done. You know, as you heard a little bit of my rant this morning, I was very much talking about what is happening in and around our nation, especially in the aspect of education. With your generation, there are a lot of things happening in and around the nation, and I'm going to update this right now. And what I'm really concerned about is what is going to happen next. And I want to read this to you. Daily Signal posted this morning. They are now saying why only 16% of Gen Zers are proud to be an American and what we should do about it. And it says the net share of each generation who say they are proud to live in the United States. Baby boomers, 73%. Gen X, my generation, 54%. Millennials, 36%. And Gen Zers, only 16%. And President Trump was quoted as saying in his inaugural address that when you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. In a society devoid of patriotism, there will be a whole lot of room to hate. Let me ask you about that. What is your initial thoughts of being at ECU, growing up in North Carolina, and having seen what has been happening in and around our nation and the prejudices that continue, the diversity, equity, and inclusion? What is your feeling? What's your very heart of patriotism? What are you feeling as you are representing Turning Point USA?
Well, I'm very patriotic. I like wear American flags. I love all that. I think my generation's so impressionable, and they just do what the Democrat Party tells them how to believe, how to think. Mm-hmm. And these groups on campus, all these liberal groups, all the admin support that just tell them how to believe, and that's what they think. They don't think for themselves. We're trying to change that with Turning Point. We want to.
Do you think they're not thinking for themselves because they're just it's such a microwave generation, if you will. They just want an instant reaction instead of really critically thinking and taking the time to think it. Do you think that's one of the problems?
I think they might feel part of like certain demographics, certain groups. I mean, just tell them that if you're this way, you have to believe this way. And that's what we're trying to change. We have buttons, stickers, posters, all stuff with pop culture references, with our beliefs on them. And usually something that they like and something that they agree with. Mm-hmm. But they don't think about that until they come to see us. Until then, they think we're just angry people and they think we're the enemy.
So how have you been progressing to change that viewpoint that we're not the enemy? Are you doing events that are kind of raising that awareness?
Well, actually, a couple weeks ago, we had a free speech ball. It was a 6-foot beach ball we had on campus. You can write whatever you want on it. Write political slogans, swear words, draw anything you want. But everyone loved it. Mm-hmm. Everyone signed. We had a petition that said for free speech on campus because a lot of schools up north have a list of words you can't say. Yeah. And we're just trying to stop that from happening here. And we have people from all sides of the political spectrum come and sign our petition because they love free speech. They might not realize it, but they do.
Can you talk to me about some of those words that you're no longer allowed to say up north? I grew up north, and I'm sitting there watching my state that I grew up in Pennsylvania, and the state in Jersey and in New York. And what are they now? What are we now? So when I go up to visit my family next weekend, am I now not allowed to say X, Y, and Z when I'm in a public place?
I mean, on campus, but you can't. Like for certain groups, you have to use the correct terminology. For Native Americans, turn to indigenous people. But I think it all means the same thing, but you can't say certain stuff.
So you guys held that event just a couple of weeks ago at ECU, and was it awakening a giant, or did you really get through to people about how stupid this is?
We about 200 people signed a petition, walking around campus, but more people signed the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone loved it. Everyone got to sign, just write what they want.
I'm glad to hear such a large amount of people really engaged in it. So that's telling us they believe in freedom of speech. That's telling us that even your generation is saying, you know what, this is just ludicrous. This is ridiculous. I was looking at something the other day. The whole pronoun thing.
Yes, I know that.
And I was looking at some people I know very well who I've had the honor to watch grow up. And they're at Ivy League schools around the nation, and were raised in very conservative faith-based homes. And I looked at their profiles on LinkedIn, and it was just kind of like, it was the pronouns, it was all the right things that you have to put now these days. And I am determined not to do the pronoun thing. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And you know what? I can get fired. I can lose whatever. I am not doing that pronoun thing because it's not necessary. But my question is, what are your thoughts on, are you seeing more and more this whole ideology of this mentality? What are you seeing? Well, how does that affect you as you are in the master's program for business? How does that affect you as you are looking for jobs out there? Are they looking for the pronouns instantly on your resume and on your LinkedIn page?
Well, now they're pushing DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm all for hiring everyone from all groups of people. I think if you have a great skill set, you should go for that job.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to be hiring based on these groups.
Mm-hmm.
I acted with, I should remember this. But the 7 predicted classes: race, sex, gender, ethnicity, religion.
Mm-hmm.
And these groups need to be protected, not hired based upon them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think people should hire based on their skill set and their character rather than what group they're a part of, what demographic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you said it here when you just said, it's on their work ethic and how well they can do a job. It's not necessarily by who they came from, what they look like, whether they identify with X, Y, and Z. It's how they can do a job. It really comes down to it. And you know that in the business side of things. Talk to us about what is it like for you in your classes, knowing that you are associated with Turning Point USA? Have you been targeted by your professors by chance? Have you been targeted by other classmates saying, oh, there's Logan, he's with Turning Point USA, we really can't have any conversation with him because he is just so far crazy and he's not like us? Do you have those issues at being on site at campus at ECU?
Well, luckily in the business school, we don't really have much of that.
Good.
It was money-minded, business-minded. A lot of them tend to be more conservative.
Mm-hmm.
I have a professor here and there I've had a problem with. Accounting professor, accounting is all numbers, adding and stretching money. Have assignment about Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it how to react to it in the workplace?
Mm-hmm.
So someone bring up the protests at work, and should the coworkers verse them in the movement?
Mm-hmm.
My response is obviously no, because that's not the place at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it in the business school. I've had not really any problems.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad. How long do you have in the business school? How much longer do you have left?
I've been here for about 5 years now, and I have a year and a half left.
Okay.
I'll get finished next May.
Okay. And what are some of your goals and sites that you are focusing on as you head out into the real world, if you will? Obviously, you have a job right now that you're doing, but as you take this degree in business, do you have the advantage of going to such an elite school here in North Carolina where it can put you out at the head of a lot of other people? But do you feel like you're set and ready because of the Turning Point USA Foundation it's given you to say, you know what, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in as I do these interviews for these jobs, and I'm not going to let this wokeness to kind of take over what I firmly believe in? I mean, how do you feel about that as you plan your journey?
I think they definitely prepare me to talk politics with
Mm-hmm.
people. If I go local politics, Turning Point's definitely helped me prepare myself for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think in North Carolina, so there's not too much of the political bias in business in the world, in the business world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you talk to me about some of the leaders that have been coming to ECU to speak? Who has inspired you? Who has inspired you?
This one named Brett Oob. He was a businessman. He
Mm-hmm.
came and talked to us. He inspired me because business and politics, they intertwine with each other, but you can't talk about them for your business. It's bad for business.
Mm-hmm.
Get in trouble. People don't want to come to your business. You lose your job. Just be able to do it discreetly, and I can be open about it, but also keep myself in the down low with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just protect myself, my career.
Mm-hmm. So when Brett came and spoke to you guys, and thanks for bringing him up. He is a great business leader, also a new author, and I'm glad you brought that up because it really does show what Turning Point USA is doing for our colleges and our universities around the nation, and also here in North Carolina, especially here in Eastern North Carolina. Bringing top leaders and top speakers to the university to really educate the student and really help and inspire them for what their career is going to look like. Do you see yourself starting your own business, or do you see yourself going into one of the giant companies?
Well, my parents have been business owners for about 25 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and they were Oak Restaurant. I see what they do. It's a lot of work, which it's something I would like to do. I figure a way how to do it without hurting myself over it too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I work for a big company, but one with values and morals rather than some of the other ones that
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Right. Right. So as you are heading into, we're headed into spring right now, and what are the things, if any of the parents here in Eastern North Carolina are watching the show, what would you say to them for their newly graduated students ready to head into university, whether it's here in the state or somewhere else? What would you say to that parent, in the sense of, Turning Point USA really has done this for me. Turning Point USA is going to be doing all of these things coming ahead. How has it helped you? And what would you say to those those new graduates this coming spring?
Well, I tell my friends, whether I work with them, they're younger kids, I always tell them there's a place for you in college. And a lot of these groups, like Turning Point, will accept anyone, allow them to come in and be part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
They can find a spot wherever they go, and we have plenty of spots open for them to come in.
Mm-hmm. And also, as they are coming in and starting at these new universities, do you also have other programs besides the university program? I saw that there's a high school program as well and some other things. Can you talk to those?
Other high school programs, somewhere, a couple places around the state.
Uh-huh.
Also, there's different groups, Young Students for Liberty,
Mm-hmm.
Young Students for Freedom,
Mm-hmm.
Young Americans for Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other groups you can find and be a part of without having to be part of a chapter.
Okay. And then as you are also graduating in the next year and a half, are there other programs for Turning Point university students once they graduate where they can still remain involved and be that active voice in the public square?
I believe we have jobs you take part in.
Mm-hmm.
Work for Turning Point at the national level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you and the other universities in the North Carolina area come together for larger events? And do you basically bring in big speakers?
We have before trying to work on it. It's been kind of hard since COVID and all that happened,
Mm-hmm.
but we have before. So.
Okay. Well, I am glad to have you here, Logan Daniels. And I noticed that you are from, my husband said I kept saying it wrong. Is it Manteo?
It's Manteo. Yes, ma'am.
Manteo. Okay. And you grew up there and here in North Carolina?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Well, Logan Daniels with Turning Point USA, the ECU chapter treasurer here in Eastern North Carolina. I'm so glad to have you here, and thank you for what you are doing to advocate for freedom of speech, advocating for business individuals like you, and also bringing just powerful speakers to the Eastern North Carolina area to really impact your generation, the next generation. I'm so glad to have you here. I hope you have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks, Eden.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And for all of those who are tuning in, this is Common Sense America. I'm Eden Hill, and I am so thankful for Turning Point USA and what they are doing at ECU with their chapter. I also know the team at NC State and also Chapel Hill are doing just tremendous things as a collective group to really impact the next generation. And I'm so thankful to each and every one of them. Just a shout out to Coleman and all of his hard work that he is doing with all the different chapter leaders, bringing in big names like Tucker, bringing in big names like Matt Walsh, and many others that are planned in the coming year. And then also just amazing leaders and business leaders like Brett Oob, that in which Logan Daniels had mentioned. So on that note, it is about 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take a quick break and I'll be right back. Thanks for joining Common Sense America. And this is Common Sense America. I'm Eden Hill, and it's Monday, January the 23rd. And I wanted just to send over a quick note to you in regards to Turning Point USA. You can go to their website, tpusa.com, and get involved. They have Turning Point Academy. They have Turning Point USA High School. They have Turning Point USA College, and they have Turning Point USA Faith. And finally, they have the Alumni Association. Many ways to get involved. Turning Point USA empowers citizens of all ages to rise up against the radical left in defense of freedom, free markets, and limited government. Join millions of patriotic supporters to save America and local communities, high schools, university campuses, businesses, houses of worship, and online. Champion freedom on the front lines, attend world-class conferences, and meet patriotic allies from across the nation. Make a difference and join Turning Point USA today. And if you want to get involved and you are here locally in the Eastern North Carolina area, they have Turning Point USA for ECU on Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram pages for you to check it out. If you are a local high school student headed off to college and making a decision where you're going to go to ECU, Chapel Hill, UNC Wilmington, NC State, all the great schools in and around the North Carolina area, Turning Point USA has chapters in every one of those states. And I am thankful to the team at Turning Point USA. They are a phenomenal group of leaders. They bring powerful speakers that are fighting the woke ideology that is infiltrating in the university systems and also the high schools in and around our nation. So if you have a chance, check out Turning Point USA. On another note, you know, like I said, my husband and I were in Southern Virginia this weekend. We took a long weekend. We went up there and we were looking at just different opportunities and just getting away to reconnect with one another. But as we were driving back yesterday, I decided to listen to Maria Bartiromo Futures, which happens every Sunday morning. I believe it's at 10 a.m. I was listening to the recording, and, you know, she hit it hard with what is happening with the Biden documents, what is happening if, in fact, you know, he's going to be, he or Hunter will be testifying before House Judiciary, House Oversight, you know, all the politics of it all. And you know, both of us were furious because so many things have happened in 2 years. And I was looking at the Twitter feed, and I know each and every one of you, whether you voted for him or not, you are standing back and you're probably questioning, what in the world is happening to our nation? What in the world is happening in the White House? What in the world is happening in and around our country? The spirits, the inspiration, the patriotism, the freedom to understand, the freedom to live and love freely. It's being hampered down. My heart aches for what we see happening. And I'm trying not to go too negative here on this Monday morning. And that's not my point. My point is to talk about and face forward what is happening right in front of us. Each and every one of you have had something stolen from them. It could have been yesterday. It could have been money. It could have been dignity. It could have been a spirit and witch of something. It could have been a friend. It could have been a loss. And there's a reason where I'm going with this. We all have dealt with losing something and something being stolen from us. And whether it was in the very forefront of seeing a United States president steal so many different things from the American people, whether it was the son of the United States president demeaning and taking away innocence from young girls. You know, I've noticed that they're not talking too much about that aspect. But Child Protective Services of Delaware, FBI, the intelligence agencies, and the premier agencies need to be talking about the fact that Hunter cannot and is not legally allowed to be in the same room with any of the Biden females now. Stop and think about that. Those precious girls that he decided to take advantage of, he stole their innocence. He manipulated their minds. So right now, I can't believe I'm actually talking about the fact that we have a United States president and we continue to uncover all of these documents that should not have been. We talk about his son, who was doing all these heinous crimes with either China, the diamond, or children. So many things have been stolen from the very fabric of our precious America. Lives have been stolen because of money. Money has been stolen because of so many ongoing pieces of corruption in the Biden crime family. Somebody said yesterday on Maria's show, it's like watching The Sopranos. And I thought, I kind of chuckled to myself, but actually, no, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. You know, it takes a lot to get in front of people to speak truth. And it takes a lot to really speak truth when it comes down to what is happening in our own homes, what is happening in and around our nation and our communities, what's happening in our states, what's happening in our school systems, what's happening in our university systems, what's happening in our workplaces. And the constant infiltration of crap, and that's what it is. I could use other words that are scriptural, but I'm not. But the things that are happening are really seeking to destroy the very fabric of who we are as the American people. And it's very concerning to see that this generation we're raising, whether we are literal parents, godparents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, family members, friends, community, they don't have any respect for this nation. What happened there? What happened there? Educating them with a woke ideology? Yeah. Letting the schools raise our kids instead of the parents? Yeah. Taking God out of our faith, our family, even taking God out of the churches. The prosperity gospel? That's not teaching anything. The churches need to rise up. Families need to rise up. Leaders need to lead. Don't ever second guess what you've been called to do. And you know what? I'm going to be very vulnerable with you for a second. I second guessed what I was called to do, and I was put in a box. Don't ever let anybody, any teacher, any leader, anybody in your family, so-called friends, ever put you in a box. One thing's for sure, I don't color inside the lines either. Because I'm gifted, I'm talented, and for such a time as this, I am a leader myself. Whether it's doing this podcast, whether it's bringing truth to each and every one of you, whether it is running a race of perseverance to make sure our veterans are well taken care of, our next generation know Jesus, our next generation actually gets educated, actually knows how to write cursive. Do you know most of them don't even know how to do that now? Don't ever, ever, ever let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. If they don't lift you up, they're not meant to be surrounding you. If they are putting you down and destroying everything that you have ever fought for, let them go. Let them go. Before we went on our little journey this weekend, I got a call from one of my coaches. Yes, I have coaches. I invest in myself and have coaches. I invest in my husband. I invest in our family. And I am a part of the REACH program. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but the REACH program is a part of the Veterans Program. And my husband is a veteran. I'm proud of it. You guys all know. I'll fight for our veterans until the day is long, until the very last breath I breathe. I will be fighting for our veterans tooth and nail. I may stir the pot, but I'm getting things done. And I had a call with my coach on Friday with the REACH program. And for all of those who may be listening to the show today, who are veteran caregivers, veteran spouses, military spouses, hidden heroes, children of veterans, or children of military, there is a REACH program through the VA. Yes, I'm actually advocating for the VA for a hot second. Most of you know I'm not a big fan because I think they try and mask most of the problems that happen with our precious veterans. But I will advocate for this program. It's called the REACH program, REACH. And for all of those who are out there who are discerning next steps, trying to understand what may be happening to their veteran, whether they are Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, even our Vietnam veterans. Oh, by the way, they still exist, people, just in case you may have forgotten them. And a lot of them are very sick. And a lot of them have been passed over by previous administrations and this one. So anytime you see a veteran who may be in need of help, whether they're a homeless veteran or a veteran who fell to hard times or a veteran who was having trouble transitioning or a spouse or a child who are in that space trying to help, I want to encourage you to get involved with the REACH program. And it's just how it's spelled. They give you a book about this thick, and it gives you a toolkit of everything that's happening. Now, you don't have to read the book all at once, but I do encourage you. They provide coaches that you get to talk to every 6 weeks, every 3 weeks, or if you need something sooner. They give you tools to help you. They give you many different opportunities to help your veteran, to help whoever is going through whatever. Hey, do you want to go back to school and you need assistance with figuring out how to do that? The REACH program is there for you. Hey, if you need to get, I don't know, new connectors because you got a call this weekend and a friend of yours who's a veteran who doesn't have access yet needs connecting. Hey, the REACH program's right there, along with making sure you know who your member of Congress is, knowing who your state house people are and state senate people are. You know, I think a lot of us forget that they were put there to serve the people, and I think they forget that too. But I think what you need to really remember is they are supposed to be advocating for you, that veteran caregiver, that veteran spouse, that veteran child. And there's a lot of different opportunities out there that I encourage you to take advantage of. The REACH program has most definitely been a powerful source. My REACH coordinator is in Memphis, Tennessee. My other REACH coordinator is here in Greenville, North Carolina. And they have been phenomenal, giving me tools, building my own toolkit on what to do to better help my veteran. We all must be advocates for ourselves and our spouses. Whether you're a veteran spouse, whether you're a military spouse, whether you're the child of one, be your own advocate. That is for your health sake, your mental health sake, your physical, spiritual, and emotional. And I am just honored to be in this mix with the REACH team. They have asked me to be a mentor to our veteran caregivers and spouses. They've also encouraged me to become a fellow with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. They are a powerful group that are coming around our caregivers and our spouses to give them encouragement, words of affirmation. Who doesn't want to be lifted up? They also provide the powerful tools. And I am doing chapter 35. Yes, I am. I am proud of it. I am proud to do chapter 35. My husband fought for your freedom and my freedom. And I get to take advantage of getting even more education because of chapter 35 and what he did for us. That those are the tools and tips that you can have with the REACH program. So if you are a spouse looking for additional assistance, if you are a child of a hidden hero, If you are someone who is looking for a little extra help just to get over that line, being able to have a coach, being able to have a caregiver who is kind of pushing you along to get you to that next level, I would highly encourage you to reach out to Reach. It is a phenomenal program. I've been doing it just about a year, and the opportunities lay right before me of amazing things I get to do. One, I have the time and the opportunity to come and invest in this powerful military community and retiree community. I have the time to talk to you about my personal journey. I have the utmost praise and guidance from amazing leaders who have gone through the REACH program. And I too can push and assist and lift up other people, whether you're a spouse or not. Like I said at the very beginning when I started this monologue, has something been stolen from you? Has it been something that you built for so long? Has it been a loss of a family member unexpectedly? Has it been money stolen from you? Has your house been broken into? Has it happened in the workplace where you built something up so high and then it was just all taken from you? I just want to encourage you. If you are in that spot, I too was there. I'm tired of the federal government stealing from us. I'm tired of our elected officials stealing from us. I'm tired of our workplaces stealing from us. I'm tired. Are you tired? But one thing I'll tell you, our voices, our spirits, that passion, that inspiration can come from people that you surround yourself with. People of faith, people in your family, people who have invested in you for so many years and who know you and who believe in you and who will not stop believing in you. I'm proud to say I'm a part of that REACH program. I'm proud to say I get to not only invest in our precious veterans and my husband, but I get to use these tools in other avenues, looking out for those hidden caregivers. And that hidden caregiver piece is through the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. Precious, precious group of kids. So if you are a child, teenager, and you are of a veteran mother or father, and you need additional assistance, Elizabeth Dole Foundation is the way to go when it comes to our hidden caregivers. If you are a veteran spouse, a military spouse, and you're looking for more support, the Veteran Reach program has been phenomenal for me. But to the military spouses who are active duty here in Eastern North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, Fort Bragg, Cherry Point, I've reached out to many of you in my years of living here, whether it was volunteering at the USO, whether it was on the campaign trail, whether it was doing speaking events over at Camp Lejeune for you, whether it was just having coffee one-on-one with you at my kitchen table, whether it was speaking to you at Camp Lejeune Leadership Seminar. There are so many different ways for the spouses to connect. There are so many different ways to reach in and just be inspired and to build that toolkit. So it is 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for letting me share my heart with you this morning. Thank you for letting me share with you the journey. We have very powerful footprints And we need not let other people tell us what we can and cannot do. We all have the gifts and the abilities within us to rise up. We are women in leadership. We are men in leadership. We are women of faith. We are men of faith. And as we look out onto the horizon of what is happening in our nation's backyard, let us rise up. Let us stand up. Let us be vocal. Don't let somebody mute you. You are called for such a time as this. I look forward to being back here with you. I have a lot of surprises for you that are up my sleeve, and we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, there's a lot of things happening on the horizon here in our nation, but we have a lot of other more important things to talk about other than our worst president and other than our worst vice president. We have a lot of things to look forward to. As we head into February, I do have new people coming to the show. The podcast continues to live on. We will continue to air powerful interviews focusing on our family, our faith, our God, our country. And on that note, I'm going to leave you on this beautiful Monday. Stay warm, stay focused. And if you got anything out of this, don't let anybody put you in a box. Color outside those lines today. I will see you guys later this week. Have a blessed Monday.